Good evening and welcome to our broadcast tonight. We have a lot in store for you from the nation's capital here in Nairobi to the counties, the region and beyond. This is the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane. And of course, on sign language, we have none other than Rhoda Nyamai. We have a lot in store for you, like I said, and to give you an idea of that, we will give you the highlights. But there's a question we want to throw out to you. If you've been following what's been happening across our country in the last few days and weeks, things are changing. Youth across the country are leading efforts to register as voters. Could this new energy shape the future of Kenyan elections? Could this new energy lead the future or shape the future of Kenya's elections? The question is mine, the answers are yours, and I'll sample them right after this. But first, here are the highlights. Tonight, President Ruto strongly defends Nairobi hospital, saying the ongoing governance challenges are being blown out of proportion and used to chase cheap headlines and attention. Winnie Odinga aligns with Oburu Oginga's ODM faction as delegates endorse her as their representative and deputy party leader. Young people in Kasarani mobilized through X and TikTok to register as voters or update their registration centers, with hundreds already participating. You know, just a few seconds ago, I did put out the question of the day. And already, some of you are already on the money, on the go, and you've sent in your feedback. That's the spirit that we want to have for the rest of the broadcast. And here is the feedback we've received from at Amani KE on X. You say, registration is step one. The real impact is turnout, na informed voting. At Amani KE, you say registration is step one. The real impact is showing up on elections day and actually voting. And with that, we begin our coverage tonight. Kenya's political landscape is heating up, with a deepening fallout between President William Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua now escalating into a fierce public confrontation. What began as a political disagreement has quickly turned into a war of words, drawing in other key figures, including Fred Matiang'i, and raising questions over the tone and direction of the 2027 general election. The following story contains some sharp political rhetoric and personal attacks that may be unsettling to some of our viewers. We present it in the public interest. Our political reporter Mike Kagwongo now reports on this high-stakes political duel.
The gloves are off.
Si mnajua ule jamaa ako na pepo ya ukabila na chuki.
Si umeona vile amekonda? Mpaka masikio inafanya nini?
Don't panic, uanze kutoa matusi, kuongea mambo personal nini.
Musangarire.
In a stunning escalation, President William Ruto has launched a scathing attack on his former ally, Rigathi Gachagua, leveling explosive accusations and questioning his character in the most personal terms yet.
And he wants to give us a lecture about stealing. You cold-blooded thief. You cold-blooded thief, stealing.
The remarks, delivered with visible anger, mark a sharp departure from policy-driven debate to deeply personal confrontation.
Stealing from your own brother. Stealing from orphans. Stealing from widows. You want to give us a lecture. Unazunguka kwa makanisa. Unazunguka kwa barabara. Unazunguka kwa mazishi. Ate unatuongelesha kitu gani?
Sasa nimeona umekasirika vile nilitaka. Mimi nilitaka wewe ukasirike. You lose your temper. You lose your cool. You stop being presidential. Sasa Kasongo amekuja bahari nilikuwa nataka yeye.
But Gachagua had already started the bout. Just a day ago, the former deputy president mocked the head of state's physical appearance, suggesting his weight loss was tied to pressure from a determined opposition.
Unataka pesa ngapi? Lakini uzuri hapa akiwa na hiyo pesa yote halali. Si umeona amekonda mpaka masikio imekuja juu. Hii mtu ako na mabilioni ya pesa, lakini
ati wanasema unaona ule William Ruto halali amekonda Sasa mimi nataka niwaulize watu hapa Chwele. Sasa niwaulize. Sasa wewe watu mafala wamekula, mkiwaona, mimi nataka niwaulize nyinyi wa jamaa, mnaongea juu ya mimi cut weight. I am intelligent to know when to cut down on weight so that I can concentrate on what I want to do.
The comments, widely seen as body shaming, signaled a new law in an already tense political fallout.
Tutakuanika na hivi vijana wangu hawa. Sumeona vile amekonda.
President William Ruto hit back, telling critics to hit the gym and reduce their food intake. Remarks that many interpreted as targeting his political rivals.
You cold-blooded murderer, heartless character. You want to tell us, you want to mislead our nation. We will not allow you to mislead any community.
Wewe unasema ati watu wameua watu. Tukianzia Kiambaa Church 2007, Gen Z kupiga watoto risasi mguu, mambo ya mauaji wa Kenya. Ukiuliza hii wa Kenya wote wanajua mambo ya mauaji.
And then entered Fred Matiang'i. The Jubilee presidential hopeful fired back at the president, dismissing the body-shaming remarks and challenging Ruto to focus on his own affairs.
Nyinyi mumekula mpaka tumbo karibu inapasuka. Mumekula mpaka kichwa imefimba na kiburi. Na wataka niwaambie, tafadhali endeni mjiangalie kwa kioo. Use the mirror.
First of all, mimi sijui kwa nini unasumbuka vile nakula, kwa sababu mimi sikuli kwa bibi yako. Ujaniona nikienda kutafuta chakula kwa bibi yako ama kwa watu wako. Mimi nakula ndizi kule Kisii kwetu.
Matiang'i went further, linking the president's verbal attacks to political anxiety ahead of the 2027 elections and accusing him of lowering the dignity of the highest office in the land.
Unataka tuzungumzie kukula kweli? Tumbo lisilo shiba inajulikana ni nini Kenya hii. Sasa unataka tuende kwa huyo mjadala badala ya kuzungumzia shida ya Wakenya.
The exchange has now morphed into a three-way political duel, each side digging in, trading bars and sharpening their messaging ahead of what promises to be a fiercely contested race.
Alafu akachukua huyo mtoto akamuua. Anatuambia nini? Huyo ni mtu ya kuongoza mahali popote? Huyo ni mtu ya kuongoza jamii yoyote? Huyo mtu, mimi nataka niwaeleze, I am giving notice. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Tunaelewana? You cannot mislead this nation. A character who has no morals.
Sisi hatuwezi jibu wewe maneno ya propaganda ya social media na mambo ya ujinga. Sisi tutaongea na wewe mambo ya wizi, maneno ya Nairobi Hospital, maneno ya pipeline, maneno ya JKIA.
The shift from issues to insults could seemingly reshape the tone of national discourse at a time when Kenyans are grappling with pressing economic and social challenges. With more than a year to official campaigns, the battle lines are already drawn and the rhetoric increasingly personal. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Folks, in other news, tensions are rising among traders at Gikomba Market following a government move to reclaim riparian land along the Nairobi River. The Nairobi River Commission has launched an operation targeting a 30-meter buffer zone, and although new proposals suggest that the expansion to a 50-meter setback, which is a development that has heightened uncertainty among thousands of traders said to be displaced. This is the situation that's ongoing, and Michelle Mwangi tells us more.
Tension swept through the Gikomba market today as traders reacted to the government's relocation plan to pave way for the reclamation of riparian land along the Nairobi River.
30 meters, which is riparian land, hiyo haiko negotiable because the government wants to regenerate or to do this program ya kuregenerate the Nairobi River.
The Nairobi River Commission operation to reclaim 30 meters along the river will displace thousands of traders in order to pave way for the construction of a modern market.
Ile mita yangu 30 muzizungumzie. Hata kwa mmekuja hapa kwangu, mita 30 ni zangu. Hapa muzizungumzie. Sasa hawa nao watu wa Nairobi River Commission wakaona kweli kwamba hawa watu ni wengi sana hapa ambao tutawatoa. Tutawafanyeje? Na nataka mtu yote akose kazi. ndio tukakubaliana watatujengea linear market.
While initial government plans indicated a 30-meter buffer, recent proposals now suggest an additional 20 meters. This shift, however, has created uncertainty among traders, raising concerns over livelihoods in one of Kenya's largest informal markets.
Na in fact, siku zetu zile walikuwa wametupatia 14 days zilikuwa zimelapse. Lakini engineer akatusikia, akasema vile mumeongea vizuri, tutawaongezea 14 more days. Na by 30th kila mtu akuwa ameondoka.
These efforts have faced resistance from traders who do not support the additional 20 meters proposed by the Nairobi River Commission.
Tuliambiwa na government inataka mita 30. Mita 30 imepinduka imekuwa ni mita 50. Mita 50 mimi nakaa pale ngorofani, nalelea watoto wangu pale na amesema inakulwa yote.
As the Nairobi River Commission moves to reclaim riparian land along the Nairobi River, traders in Gikomba Market will be forced to move to these temporary holdings for a period of 4 months. Michelle Mwangi, TV47, Nairobi.
A major political realignment is unfolding within the Orange Democratic Movement Party. This is after East African Legislative Assembly Member of Parliament Winnie Odinga shifted allegiance from the Edwin Sifuna-led faction to the camp aligned to ODM party leader Oburu Oginga. The move comes just days before the party's National Delegates Convention, where key leadership decisions are expected to be ratified. Apollo Kamau tells us more.
The presence of Iyala MP and daughter of former ODM party leader Raila Odinga, Winnie Odinga, at a Nairobi ODM delegates meeting, allied to party leader Oburu Oginga, has set tongues wagging. This comes after weeks and months of her opposition to Oburu Oginga in favor of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Ati wananikaribisha nyumbani. Ati wananikaribisha. Nilienda wapi bana? Utawasemea labda wanafikiri nilienda Arusha. Hiyo ni kazi tu. Hiyo ni mambo ya Yala. Mimi hii chama hii nyumba yetu. Hii nyumba ambayo tulijenga. Hii nyumba ambayo babangu alijenga.
Once a fierce critic of ODM party leader Oburu Oginga and a staunch defender of the party's Young Turks led by Sifuna, Babu Owino and Caleb Amisi among others, Winnie was endorsed as ODM deputy party leader and the party's delegate number 1 in Nairobi, replacing her father Odinga. Also endorsed during the ODM Nairobi delegates meeting was Makadara MP George Aladwa, who is seeking the Secretary General position, currently occupied by Catherine Omanyo.
Kama wajumbe wa Nairobi, tumesema tuongezewe nafasi ya deputy party leaders wakuwa 4, Winnie akiwa mmoja wao. Na wengi watauliza kwani hii ni chama ya family. Winnie Odinga na Oburu Oginga ni watu wawili tofauti. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Tena yeye ni gender. Kwa hivyo sisi tunachukua Winnie kwa nafasi ya baba Raila Amolo Odinga.
Na all these times tumekuwa tukienda maandamano. Watu wa Nairobi wamekuwa wakienda maandamano. Hakuna maandamano ushago. Imekuwa hapa Nairobi. So kwa hivyo, when it comes to party positions, those that have put their lives on the line should be the first people to be considered for party positions.
The endorsement by party persons from all 17 constituencies will have to be approved by the ODM and DC next week, alongside a proposed amendment to the party constitution to reflect Winnie's new role. ODM currently has 3 deputy leaders, Governors Abdul Somad Sharif, Simba Arati, and Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi. Winnie Odinga's shift is an upset to the Edwin Sifuna-led Linda Mwananchi faction, but a boost to the Oburu camp after weeks and months of resistance. Apul Kamau, TV47 in Nairobi.
As the politics is politicking, folks, the death toll from the ongoing floods across the country has risen to 71, with Nairobi recording the highest number of fatalities. Authorities say that the situation remains dire, prompting urgent interventions to prevent further loss of life as heavy rains continue to pound several regions across the country. This report was prepared by Mwaluse Meshak.
The number of people who have died due to floods in the country has reached 71 over the past 2 weeks. Following heavy rainfall that has been experienced for about a week now, with 5 more people reported this Tuesday. Nairobi County is the hardest hit, recording 36 deaths as heavy rains continue to cause destruction across various parts of the city.
Those residents have known for a long time that their walls are actually on the path of the water. And so there's no need for any more public participation there. It's just to do what is right, to restore the path of the water.
The Nairobi City County government has taken emergency measures to address the situation, including directing the preparation of a 48-hour action plan. The plan aims to address flooding, poor drainage system, and damage to infrastructure.
The multi-agency team is looking at what we call the choke points. So these choke points will have to be cleared. As for the mechanics around Grogon, we have been having a long discussion with the Rivers Commission on relocating those garages. They will have to be relocated because they are right on the riparian.
This, as a Nairobi governor emphasizes that residents living on riparian land must relocate immediately to avoid further loss of life. At the Grogan Garages area in Nairobi, the county government is planning to relocate mechanics and other traders operating there.
We declared a special planning area for the Nairobi rivers, which is 60 meters in most areas, and some areas 30 meters. And that is part of what will happen. We are providing alternative land in Ziwani.
Additionally, Governor Sakaja stated that a multi-agency team is currently working together to assess the situation, identify high-risk areas, and determine budgets for emergency intervention.
So if there are buildings on drainage, we'll have to remove them. You cannot have compensation there, because the building is on the wrong place.
The assessment report is expected to be tabled on Thursday before the Parliamentary Implementation Committee for further action.
Now, what began as a trending hashtag online has evolved into a powerful youth-led movement as young people turn out in large numbers to register as voters. From viral TikTok clips to long queues at registration centres, the Tuko Kadi wave is capturing the energy of a generation determined to shape the country's future through civic participation. The movement is redefining how young people engage with democracy, blending digital influence and real-world action, proving that their voices are ready to be heard. This story was produced by Alvin Kithinji and voiced by Brian Masese.
Tumefika ground na tunakuwa kadi. Tushapata the first person mwenye amekuwa kadi leo, na actually Val ametutangulia hapa, alikuwa hapa by Azalia 7:30 na ashakuwa registered.
It all started on X and TikTok under the hashtag #TukoKadi. As a digital mobilization, and the socials quickly transformed into a real-world movement, with influencers urging their peers to arm themselves with a voter's card.
We are registering, na lazima it happen. Tuko Kadi, where are you? So thank you. This was a one-person initiative, ikakuwa citizen-led initiative, na sasa tuko hapa, watu wametokea. No amount of money is needed to do this mobilization, tumefanya tu online.
In Kasarani, they answered the call. Youth flocked to a registration center outside the polling station, and they captured the moment, encouraging more youths to join in. Inside, the young Kenyans were proudly registering or changing their polling stations, determined to make their voices count in the 2027 general election.
Our unity as the young people of this country is our strength, and ndio tunaenda kuitumia going forward. So once tuko kadi, we are going to identify the right candidates who are going to take up the leadership positions in future.
I would urge every youth who is outside there who has no vote, tafadhali usingoje mpaka tukuje. Usingoje mpaka tukuje. Hapa Kasarani watu wengi wamejitokeza because the government of the day has failed us terribly and thoroughly.
They have also dismissed claims that they are not registering as voters, arguing that in 2024 they went to the streets, but in 2027 they will turn up to the vote for leaders they want. For them, risasi imebaki moja. The voters card.
Wanasema risasi ni ngapi? Moja. Wanasema risasi ni ngapi? Moja. Na ndio hii risasi. We came here to arm ourselves. We came here to be ready. We came here in every way. We are ready.
We need a good nation, a good country. Country ambayo haina utifu, no killing people like kuku, no just kila kitu nakuwa on sale. Yani country imekuwa is a business for somebody.
IEBC noted the surge in turnout, attributing it to the online campaigns. The commission has expressed its commitment to voter education, ensuring that willing citizens register as voters.
Since we launched the continuous registration of voters process last September, around 90% of the people who have come to register are the youth.
With their voters card in hand, they are ready to turn hashtags into action, proving that the ballot box remains the most powerful tool for change.
We are so happy. I'm so happy actually as an individual kuona youths that are turning up. Youths, mturn up. Wale wenye wako home, mtoke nyinyi wote, because without you na nawaambia ni kwa ukweli, without you tutakuwa.
Hi, I'm a Gen Z na niko kadi.
Gen Z niko kadi.
Hello, I'm a Gen Z, niko kadi.
What's up my guys? I'm a Gen Z na niko kadi.
Tuko kadi! This reveals that the same platform that mobilized youth against the 2024 finance bill are now being harnessed to drive civic participation. The message is simple but powerful. Registering is the first step towards shaping the future.
So the question is, uko kadi? And we'll leave it there. President William Ruto's plan to operationalize the National Infrastructure Fund is now facing a legal hurdle after the Katiba Institute filed a petition seeking to suspend its implementation. The lobby group argues that billions of shillings raised through privatization could be mismanaged outside the constitutional frameworks. Stanley Nyaringita tells us more.
In the petition, the Katiba Institute is asking the court to issue conservatory orders restraining the government from operationalizing the National Infrastructure Fund Act 2026, arguing that it is unconstitutional and was enacted in violation of key provisions of the Constitution. According to lawyer Henry Paul Gishana, who represents the lobby group, the Senate was excluded from the legislative process despite the act affecting county finances, contrary to constitutional requirements. Furthermore, Gishana argues that the law undermines Parliament's oversight role over public finances and prevents the control of budget from exercising its constitutional mandate to approve and supervise expenditure. The law provides for two-tier governance structure, with a governing council expected to provide overall policy direction, while a board of directors will be responsible for implementing investment policy and approving funding for infrastructure projects. The lobby group now wants the court to block the government from using proceeds from the privatization of state assets for the fund, including money expected from the sale of shares in Kenya Pipeline Company and telecommunications company Safaricom, arguing that billions of shillings raised from privatization could be diverted outside the constitutional framework, leading to irreversible financial and legal consequences. The matter is expected to be mentioned for directions on whether the act will receive a green light or be suspended immediately, pending the hearing and determination of the case. Stanley Nyaringita, TV47.
Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has ruled out any compensation for Kenyans who participated in the Russia-Ukraine war, stating that the government was not involved in their recruitment. Mudavadi says that the recruitment of Kenyans into foreign military operations was illegal and that the government will take firm action against rogue agencies behind the exercise. Our senior political reporter Liz Mutuku is in Moscow, in Russia, alongside the CS, or the PCS in this case. And they've been having a conversation, a sit-down, and here is what they discussed.
Well, a very good evening all the way from Moscow, Russia, where we've been following this special mission by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who doubles up as the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary on the plight of Kenyans who have been recruited in the special forces. Yesterday, there was an agreement to stop, or rather to halt, the recruitment and enlistings of Kenyans in the special forces. But there is the question of numbers, repatriation, and even compensation, among other diplomatic agreements which came out from yesterday's meeting. And we get to hear from him one-on-one. I'm Elizabeth Mutuku. Remember, you can follow this conversation through 22047 and our social media handles. Thank you so much, Cabinet Secretary and Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, for allowing us to hear from you tonight. I will start by asking the specific numbers of Kenyans who have been recruited in the mission, considering that there has been a different number which has been given by the National Intelligence Service in Kenya, as well as human rights body in the country, away from the numbers which were given by the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
What is important is that we try and be as accurate as we possibly can be. But the official records we have from the embassy stands at about 252 Kenyans who are embroiled in this enlistment into the special military operations in this country. That's the figure we had. Now, there are quite a number of other African countries who are also caught in the same predicament. I don't want to name those countries, but you'll be able to find that other countries have been entangled in this. But maybe without really casting any aspersions, but there have been reports around South Africa, Cameroon, Ghana, and Sierra Leone, Egypt, and outside Africa there have been talk of even India and other places. So from the records that we have here, which names can be verified, it's about 252 from the mission in Russia, our embassy. I know there was debate in Parliament and there was indication that this number could be higher. But until we have appropriate verification, I would not want to talk of a figure that we cannot attach a name to.
We know there has been majority of Kenyans who have been enlisted, but yesterday you spoke of halting the whole process, or rather stopping this. But what are the measures which we are taking, or rather the country is taking, against the rogue agencies who have been involved majorly in recruiting Kenyans in these special forces?
Just to have a campaign of awareness. I think it is important that Kenyans realize that we have the Ministry of Labor and we have the National Employment Agency, and then we have the Department of Diaspora, which falls under my Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These government departments are there to serve the Kenyan public and to help the Kenyan public determine the integrity of the agencies that are involved in any recruitment. The government has been cautioning about illegal agencies, and we have had some of them deregistered, some of these companies. But the law has not been tight enough. I can tell you that we are at an advanced stage of being able to present amendment proposals to Parliament for further consideration so that we can seal the loopholes. For instance, we need to have entities that can be held accountable. They need to be gazetted so that the ownership can be established. And then there should be a reporting and accounting or an accounting mechanism where these entities can say, we have facilitated so many. These are the details of the individuals who have been facilitated. These are basically the terms of the contract. And we can account for them, all right? We have been having a situation where some of these entities or individuals operate like briefcase operators or fly-by-night operators. So they get involved in some transaction and they disappear. So that's one. But the challenge we have here is not just about rogue operators. It's also about the individuals. Some of these individuals left Kenya on tourist visas, maybe to a third country. And then from a third party country, they now move over into the special operations. All right? So they may not have left directly through Nairobi. This is really a situation where it's unfortunate, and we want to encourage them encourage young Kenyans in particular, that they should be very careful so that they're not lured into this kind of activities. Right now, through campaigns and education, we have to tell them that refrain from falling into a trap. Verify. If you're being offered an opportunity outside, please make an attempt or make sure that you verify the authenticity of what you're being offered by contacting the National Employment Agency or contacting the Department of Diaspora in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora. What we must make very clear, we cannot go to a war zone and plug people out of a war zone, okay? This is something that our people must come to terms with. So the only way this can happen is for us to have dialogue and cooperation and partnership with the authorities here in Moscow so that they can recall or facilitate the evacuation of those who are on the front line. And then once they are here, the government of Kenya, through the embassy, and Ambassador Mathuki has been doing a very, very good job and his team. By the way, he's an ambassador with only 5 people in this station. And this is a very massive country, both in terms of size and so forth. So when you look at it from that perspective, the fact that they have been able to assist 44 of these distressed Kenyans is a very significant achievement. What we have come to do was to, first of all, convey to the authorities here that Kenyans are in a state of distress and they are unhappy and concerned. And the message that I brought here is that stop any further enlisting into these special operations. And I'm happy that the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, was very categorical in our bilateral meeting that they have determined that they shall not engage Kenyans anymore in that particular assignment. The ones who are in either hospitals, we were able to also have a conversation about how they can get consular services. Consular services call for visitation by officials from the embassy so that they can be facilitated. And the Minister for Foreign Affairs was very clear that through the Department of Defense, this can be facilitated so that our mission staff can have access to the Kenyans who are in distress, and then from there start the journey of helping them to get back. When there's the conversation on exchange of prisoners of war, we would want the authorities here to include the Kenyans who may have been affected so that they can be brought out of there, and in the process, then we begin the journey of helping them to get home. We can only try at this stage to help Kenyans through the diplomatic channels. That is what we are doing, and that's the only logical road or route that we have to help Kenyans in the current circumstances. And we have made a commitment, and it was a commitment from the minister saying that there shall be no more enlisting. I have no reason to doubt him.
Thank you so much, Prime Cabinet Secretary, for allowing me to hear from you today. And we'll keep looking for you because I know there is a lot which is happening in the diplomatic world. And we hope to hear from you each and every time we look for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching TV47. That has been a conversation with the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary who doubles up as the Prime Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency Dr. Musalia Mudavadi. I'm Elizabeth Mutuku. Keep it TV47.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that. We now take a short break. We'll be right back with more. But please don't forget the question of the day. The questions are ours. The answers belong to you. Let us know what you think. And the question of the day is on your screen right now. The youth across the country are leading efforts to register as voters. Could this new energy shape the future of Kenya's elections? Could this new energy shape the future of Kenya's elections? We'll be right back.
Responsible recycling and protecting our planet's valuable resources on TV47's Morning Cafe. We host Mr. Stephen Muli, board chair of the Kenya Extended Producer Responsibility Organization, KEPRO, for an insightful conversation on extended producer responsibility, EPR, as a catalyst for recycling in Kenya. Tune in as we explore how EPR can drive sustainable waste management, strengthen recycling systems, and support a cleaner, greener future for Kenya. Are you in Homa Bay and its environs? Did you know you can easily claim your lost and found financial assets for you, your loved ones, or your organization? The Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, in collaboration with the County Commissioner, Homa Bay, is giving you an opportunity to claim your lost and found financial assets from 23rd to 27th March 2026. Come to Raila Odinga Stadium with your ID, a copy of a relative's death certificate, a copy of a grant, or a copy of an organization's registration certificate to search and claim your unclaimed financial assets. Listen to Radio 47 for more details. Claim your cash. Karibu Nawe, the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite. Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports, all in one place. Refisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account and win. Revisha ushinde. KCB, for people, for better. Africa Institute, the pivot arm of Mount Kenya University, is where dreams take shape. We prepare you through competitive, market-driven programs which include medical and health sciences, hospitality, tourism and travel, journalism, IT, engineering, marine studies and driving. With entry grades from C and below, your journey begins in our Thika, Kitale, Nakuru, Malindi, Kisii and Nairobi campuses. Equip Africa Institute.
Welcome back. If you're joining us, this is the Daily Report with me, Victor Muyakane, and of course, Rhoda Nyamai on sign language. We had asked you a question, and it goes it goes this way. Youth across the country are leading efforts to register as voters. Could this new energy shape the future of Kenya's elections? Could this new energy shape the future of Kenya's elections? We asked, and some of you have already responded. Let's sample some of those views. From Facebook, James Kariuki says, if vijana watajitokeza kwa wingi, definitely elections itabadilika kabisa. That's James Kariuki on Facebook. At Youth Voice KE on X, you say, youth voter registration could completely change the political landscape. Let's hear from somebody else. As the feedback keeps coming in, send it to us. We'll be happy to sample it in the course of this broadcast. And we'll leave it there for now, and then we'll pick it up a little bit later on. And we go back to a story that's been hitting the headlines across the country. Now, tonight, folks, fresh details are emerging in the escalating leadership wrangles at the Nairobi Hospital, shedding light on what may have triggered the latest standoff. It has now been established that a prominent industrialist was among names recommended by a senior government office for appointment to the hospital's board, a move that reportedly put the current board on high alert and sparked the dramatic events witnessed over the weekend. This dispute, which is said to have begun in 2024, has since spiraled into a complex legal battle, with the hospital now entangled in multiple court cases. Mudhoni Brenda reports.
The saga surrounding the management of the Nairobi hospital took a new twist on Tuesday.
It's brainless opposition. They are just scavengers. Scavenging on any headline. Oh, sijui nini Nairobi hospital nauzwa, sijui nani anataka kununua, wacheni ujinga.
President William Ruto saying the recent arrest of officials linked to the ongoing hospital crisis was a necessary intervention to protect a critical national institution. This coming after a section of doctors affiliated with the hospital say they reached out directly to William Ruto, appealing for urgent intervention to save the facility from what they described as escalating mismanagement and leadership failures.
Free Dr. Obwaka! Free Dr. Obwaka!
And as the saga continues, TV47 has now obtained a chilling account from a whistleblower, an account that has now cast the ongoing hospital crisis as more than just a boardroom dispute, painting it instead as a calculated high-stakes power grab, allegedly driven by external influence, intimidation and engineered takeovers. At the center of the storm is a powerful senior government official. According to a source, a former chairman, a board member who is also a political analyst, and other directors were summoned to a high-level office in March last year. The directive issued during that meeting was both clear and urgent: create 7 positions on the hospital's board. The trio never complied. What followed, insiders claim, was not a coincidence but retaliation. Just 3 days after that meeting with the powerful senior government official, a notice to attend a board meeting was issued at 3:43 p.m. and by 4 p.m. the sitting chairman had been removed and a new chairperson elected. Moments later, the source alleges that those involved received a call from the same senior official with a cryptic but worrying message suggesting their removal had been anticipated. Now, firmly in control, The new chairperson's first major move was to implement the earlier directive overseeing the entry of 7 new board members. But the real turning point, the source says, came when internal loyalties began to shift. Sensing a growing alliance within the board that could challenge the new leadership, the alleged power brokers are said to have withdrawn their support and backed a different faction. Secret meetings were then allegedly convened, despite a court injunction halting such gatherings. These meetings were reportedly not communicated to certain board members. Using a clause buried deeply within the organization's governing documents, the rival faction declared several seats vacant, citing failure to attend 4 consecutive meetings. Subsequently, communication was issued directing the co-option of additional board members, reportedly conveyed through an internal memo from the company secretary. Tensions escalated dramatically when new names were submitted for an inclusion on the board. Among them were prominent business figures, but one name sparked widespread concern across all factions, raising fears of a broader attempt to gain control of the institution. Alarmed, some board members sought intervention from a senior political figure, who later addressed the media and publicly disclosed the alleged sequence of events. And what followed over the weekend was a spectacle that captured national attention. The source also alleges that hired individuals disrupted an annual general meeting shortly afterward, arriving in a public service vehicle and allegedly coordinated by a political figure from the Nairobi County Assembly. Muthoni Brenda, for TV 47.
In other news, the re-election of COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli to a 6th term is now under legal challenge following a petition filed at the Employment and Labour Relations Court. The case questions the legality of the recent delegates' conference held in Kisumu, where Atwoli was declared elected unopposed. Linda Alela with the details.
In court documents, the petitioner argues that the election process violated the official electoral timeline issued by the Registrar of Trade Unions. The directive required affiliate unions to first conduct branch and national elections before COTU leadership elections could take place later this year. Mohammed claims the umbrella union conducted its elections prematurely and without properly elected delegates. The petition also cites alleged irregularities, including failure to update membership registers, absence of voters' roll, and lack of an independent electoral body. It is now seeking court orders to stop the registrar from gazetting the newly elected officials, pending the hearing of the case. Justice Jacob Gakeri has certified the matter as urgent, with the case set for mention on March the 24th. The ruling could have major implications on the legitimacy of COTU's leadership and future trade union elections in Kenya. For TV 47, I'm Linda Alela.
Kenya is tightening competition rules as regulators push for fairer markets that better protect consumers and small businesses. The new OECD peer review finds that while the legal framework is strong, gaps in enforcement continue to limit its full impact. Authorities now say that more than 3.5 billion shillings have been recovered from firms engaged in unfair trade practices. Take a look.
Kenya is ramping up efforts to strengthen competition among businesses, with the National Treasury pointing to the recovery of over 3.5 billion shillings in delayed payments to MSMEs as a key milestone in tackling buyer power abuse.
We have also had an efficient merger control regime that has supported foreign direct investment estimated at over 300 billion. We also have seen staff numbers grow from 32 to 74, with continued investment in skills to address evolving digital market challenges.
This, as the Competition Authority of Kenya underscored the need for regulatory predictability, warning that consistent enforcement is essential to safeguard consumers and enable MSMEs to compete effectively alongside large and global firms.
The process was preceded by a detailed self-assessment that required the authority to critically and candidly interrogate our processes, practices, and institutional realities.
Hibak Said for TV47.
Old Mutual Holdings plc has posted a net profit of 856 million shillings for the year ended December 2025, driven by strong growth in asset management and life insurance businesses. The regional financial services group reported a 2% increase in earnings, supported by improved treasury performance, rising digital adoption, and a 6% growth in total assets to 79.2 billion shillings. Chief Executive Officer Arthur Oginga says that the results reflect resilience and position the firm for sustainable growth.
The changes we made from a revenue perspective that landed us at the 32 billion. The likes of the significant improvement on the expenses from the insurance contract, 15%, really a position to be very proud of, given the nature of the business we operate in.
Our focus on customer. We are designing the business in a manner that makes it easier for customers to deal with us rather than in a structure that we are more comfortable with than the customer. We call that integrated execution. So our customers can approach us for any of the financial products that we offer through any of our advisors or through any of our different channels that we've got.
SBM Bank Kenya has launched the Busara Banking app, a family-focused platform designed to help children learn about saving, spending and money management through guided real-life experiences. The app allows parents to assign chores, link rewards and monitor usage, supported by a prepaid card in partnership with MasterCard. Chief Executive Officer Bartesh Shah says that the innovation supports financial literacy and digital inclusion among young users. China's decision to eliminate tariffs on 100% of products from African countries is expected to open up new trade opportunities across the continent. This move is set to boost exports and industrial growth, particularly in agriculture, manufacturing and value-added sectors, while strengthening trade ties between Africa and China. Analysts say that this policy could also enhance competitiveness and support broader goals under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Ideas and energy are exactly what we need. The China 15th Five-Year Plan focuses on the youth innovation and international exchanges.
Get to understand their challenges and opportunities and make deals in order to benefit from this very unique offer that China has given to Africa.
In sports, tensions remain high between Football Kenya Federation and the Women's Premier League clubs following a weekend boycott that disrupted fixtures across the country. FKF President Hussein Mohammed chaired a consultative meeting at the Kandanda House, bringing together federation officials and representatives from top-tier women's clubs. The meeting aimed to resolve grievances that led to the boycott after several teams failed to honour matches scheduled for March 14th and 15th. Clubs say that the protest was driven by unresolved concerns affecting the management and development of women's football, adding that previous engagements had not produced tangible solutions.
It was more of a clear the air meeting. We did not discuss the main agendas that we had brought into attention with the federation, but we have all agreed with the federation that we are going to have another meeting on 8th of April to be able to discuss deeper matters, the main agendas that we had shared with the FKF, and also matters women football.
And still in soccer, AFC Leopards will be looking to bounce back when they host newly promoted Nairobi United in a SportPesa Premier League clash at Nyayo Stadium. This follows a disappointing 4-1 defeat to Mathare United that dented their title ambitions. The Ambani-led side has struggled with consistency this season, a factor that has significantly hurt their title push.
Game ya kesho, sisi ka Nairobi United, game ya kesho FC, tuna expect a good result.
Of course, game ya kesho against FC itakuwa very tough match. Ukiangalia last game walikuwa wamelose against Mathare. So, tuna expect watakuja stronger. We wajaribu kuchase up the league. Ukiangalia the first leg tucheza against FC Leopard, kulikuwa na fatigue. Tulikuwa tumecheza against Shabana away. So we only have 2 days for training, then tukacheza now on a Wednesday. So kulikuwa na fatigue, but this time round, last game yetu tucheza Saturday, which pia walicheza Saturday, but I think hiyo game kuna vile tuko much prepared kucheza hiyo game na ku have 3 points.
Kenya has stepped up preparations for the 2026 Commonwealth Games, with the National Olympic Committee of Kenya convening its first meeting with the appointed team managers. The team managers will oversee Kenya's delegation to the Games, set for July 24th to August 2nd of this year in Glasgow, Scotland. The team, Kenya, is expected to compete across multiple disciplines with an ambitious medal target of 8 gold, 7 silver and 12 bronze medals.
This team to be able to go out there and compete and bring clean medals to this country. And that is always what we pride in, and that is what... So where are we now, even as we speak to you? May I also now confirm to you, Madam, and the executives, that
All right, now this is what we had in store for you tonight. But we did ask you earlier about the question of the day, and we were making this observation based on what we have seen today. A group of youth who are mobilizing themselves on social media to go and register for their voting rights or voters' cards. Now, the question of the day was, youth across the country are leading efforts to register as voters. Could this new energy shape the future of Kenya's elections? That was the question we were asking you, and this is what you have been able to tell us. Let's sample some of the feedback. From Facebook, Mercy Achieng says, youth energy iko high, but lazima iende mpaka kwa ballot. See your registration too. That is Mercy Achieng on Facebook. We've got Peter Mwangi on Facebook, who says, this is a good sign. Vijana wakiamka wanaweza influence leadership choices. Let's see some more feedback. We have still on Facebook, Lynette Chebet says, wengi wana register, but turnout siku ya kura ndio itaamua everything. That is Lynette Chebet from Facebook. Let's look at somebody else still from Facebook. Brian Otieno says, youth wakiwa united wanaweza shape future ya politics in Kenya. That is Brian Otieno on Facebook. Let's see some more. We've got Anne Wanjiru who says, hii momentum ni muhimu, but civic education pia inahitajika ili wachague vizuri. Anne Wanjiru from Facebook. Let's have a look at some more feedback. Now over to X, where at Civic Watch KE, you say energy eco, but consistency ndio challenge kubwa. That is Civic Watch KE. And at Gen Z Debate from X, you say, this is the generation that might redefine elections in Kenya. Folks, there's no reason why this conversation should end here. Let's keep that conversation going. Keep talking to us. Keep talking to yourselves. Because like I said earlier, the questions are mine, but the answers are yours. Let's keep talking. Let's keep having this conversation happening across all the social media platforms so that we make sure that the answers are actually impactful for our country. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's been an absolute honor to serve you this evening as your presenter. Alongside, of course, Nyamai Roda on sign language. From all of us who made this a reality, we want to say thank you for choosing us to inform you. Good night, and may God bless you.